And here we are at the end of the world, the new series' first flurry into proper time travel. It's interesting to note the difference here between the first time travel trip with the original series and the rebooted one. The original series went back to the Stone Age and the Tribe of Gum and was a purely historical story, whereas the end of the world goes in the completely opposite direction. We're in the far future. There is a space station, spaceships, fire, aliens, tiny robots. Shit's gonna happen. It's an interesting comment on the way culture had evolved between the 40 years since the inception of the show and the new series starting. Doctor Who was originally created as being a form of family-friendly educational show. The new series was setting out the mission statement that, while still family-friendly, things were going to be much more spectacular and fast-paced, as that was the way most similar TV shows and films were going at the time, and still are to this day. As the episode starts proper with the Doctor and Rose arriving on the space station, we see an interesting element of the Doctor's new personality. He has taken Rose to the day the Earth dies, and he didn't even think about how it would affect her. It's this innocence I mentioned in the last video. The Doctor has obviously been alone for so long, and now he's got the chance to travel the universe with someone again. He just thought, right, what's the most spectacular thing I can show her? I don't think he didn't think it would affect her, just that he didn't think about it either way. And the same for Rose. When she jumped into the TARDIS, she thought this would be a bit of fun with no real consequences. But now she's aware of her own mortality. This is quite a deep moment to hit upon in the second episode. Well, not only that, the beginning of the second episode, which is followed up with a lovely moment of Rose getting emotional just hearing her mum talk about everyday nonsense. However, this scene always reminded me of this.
I'm you from the future. I've come to warn you in 3 million years you'll be dead.
Will I really?
Stupid, I know, it's just the way my mind works. The plot of the episode is a variation of the base Under Siege type story, with someone or something killing off all the guests on the space station. Again, like Rose, the plot is nothing special, but with more of a basic plot, this gives the writer more chance to do character work, which is definitely a highlight of this episode. The design for Cassandra is good, this terrifying idea of cosmetic surgery taken to the extreme, but also so believable. You can imagine something similar being possible in the distant future. Another Red Dwarf reference incoming, and taken away from the effectiveness of the character just slightly, was her brain in the jar at the bottom of her... what would you call it? A frame? Mobility scooter? Plinth? Throne? Anyway, the jar, all it can remind me of is when Lister is just a brain in the jar with the dreads on it. It's something I didn't really notice the first time I saw it, to be fair, but rewatching it, it just struck me. It's all I could see. Zoe Wanamaker is great in the role as well. She just gives off this great air of superiority and false empathy. My biggest issue with the episode, not just this one, but quite a few in the Russell era, is the use of music. I don't mean Murray Gold's score. I know a lot of people don't like him and feel that his score is overbearing. I personally like him. Well, most of his stuff. I do feel he kind of got bored occasionally towards the end and kind of just phoned it in for the most part. But when it was good, it was brilliant. All the strange creatures, This is Gallifrey, I Am the Doctor, The Shepherd's Boy, all of these are great. No, what I'm talking about is the use of licensed music. The use of Tainted Love while Rose was trying to get out of the room was a little on the nose, and the use of Toxic was just, well, it wasn't good. I know the original series also used licensed music from time to time, such as Susan was shown occasionally listening to the Beatles. But I just feel like some of the times they've used it since the show was brought back just haven't really worked. There is a worse example in another episode later on, but I'll talk about that when we get there. This episode also marks the first time that mysterious Time War is alluded to. It's just really a throwaway line hinting that something awful has happened. It's even commented on that he is the last of his kind, but it's not referred to as a Time War yet. Rewatching all the new series, I'm not sure there was a plan fully set out for what the Time War was. I always kind of feel that they made it up as they went along, as evident by them contradicting themselves on a few occasions. Not that I'm a stickler for continuity. Well, not all the time. I'm just not sure they thought they would ever get to the point where they would have to actually explain what happened. It was a miracle that Doctor Who was brought back in the first place, let alone still running 15 years later. It was more just a way to start the soft reboot of the series. The film happened, then some stuff, and ta-da, we're back with a new one! Even by the end of Series 1, they were trying to find ways out of the cul-de-sac they had written themselves into. It was not awful by any means. So is this one worth rewatching? Again, I'd say yes, but not so much as Rose. Watching it again, I feel it is much stronger when viewed with the previous episode. They even do a quick recap at the beginning of the episode so it feels like a direct continuation of the story, rather than just another adventure. Maybe at some point in the writing stage that was the idea, to have the start of the new series a two-parter, or even a full hour-and-a-half feature-length episode. But they rightly chose to have the series start in what would become normal convention for most of the episodes, 45 to 50 minutes. I just kind of feel with this one it was trying to get as many sci-fi conventions into a single episode and seeing which ones worked. It's not a bad episode, it's just alright.